Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Hurdy-Burg Internet Broadcast Network, and we are with Danielle Smith and the Facebook group. If you happen to be following us, is Power Hour Broadcast Danielle Smith. If you type that in Facebook and search, you'll find the group. It's public. Feel free to join. This is our 8th podcast on the Hurdy-Burg Broadcast Network. And Danielle Smith is John Maxwell Certified Coach, and we're going to do a little transition tonight from Everybody Communicates to View Connect, and we're going to drop a little bit of Danny's expertise on stop wasting handshakes. Danny, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Hurdy. We appreciate it. Those of you who were in any of the classes last week and or got the email since then, there's an 8-touch communication worksheet that I'll be talking about that, or I'll be referring to it a little bit. Mainly, I want you to think about it. Today we're not going to get into the whole mindset, but do remember this. Marketing is everything you do before and after asking for the sale. Now, depending on what business you're in, if you're a realtor and you're asking for somebody to sign a buyer's contract, you're asking somebody to sign a listing contract, that is selling. You're a banker, looking through people on through, you're a banker, maybe it's asking somebody to move their accounts over to you. You're a CPA, it's asking somebody to, I would like to do your taxes. I probably flubbed that up a little bit there, John, but if you're a social media consultant, it's asking for that sale. If you're a mortgage loan officer, we got a couple of mortgage loan officers on here. You're asking somebody, are you ready to take a loan application? Whatever it is that triggers them to say yes or no, that's selling. Marketing is everything else that you do. If you don't have the presentation from the classes I did last week, just email me. I think I put that in an email to you today. I'll send it to you when we cover some of that. But the Guerrilla Marketing book that was written by J. Conrad Levinson back in the 80s, that's been, there's 17 million of the original book and the revisions, updates to it out there. He describes marketing as everything you do before and after asking for the sale. Selling is just that. I'm belaboring this a little bit, but I'm trying to get in your head. Think about what you do to connect with people. What you do to connect with people so that they don't hang up on you or tell you to go fly a kite when you ask for the sale. It's about marketing. Now, it's not real sexy, but you come home at the end of the day and your husband, wife, your significant other asks, what'd you do today? And you say, well, I did pretty well with my marketing today. Yeah, it doesn't sound as good as, well, I made 12 sales calls. But most of what we do in this program and the stuff I'm talking about, and this is stuff here on the Power Hour, is about building relationships, getting better, growing through the process, growing out in front of where you're at right now. It's about connecting. We're hitting right now the last 2 or 3 weeks. We've had 3 weeks before tonight on the book, Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to connect. Yeah, we're going to hit back in that tonight. But thinking about that 8-touch connection worksheet and what it means. And the thing is that 8, depending on whose survey you're reading, but it takes, 80% of sales happen after the 8th touch. But yet only 20% of salespeople follow through with somebody 2 or more times. That's more than once. And in the world most of us operate in, out on the streets, going to networking meetings, shaking hands with people, you think about that. But think about how often somebody sends you an email that says, "It was good to meet you, Darren. Sarah, it was great seeing you last week." Very, very few people see it. It's because everybody's out there selling. So I'm going to get into some notes here around the book as it pertains to, and some people might think that I've taken a little bit of a liberal approach to this, but I think as you work through it, you'll understand what I'm saying. Everyone communicates, few connect. The book is divided into 2 big parts: connecting principles and connecting practices. The connecting principles are about influence, about others. Connecting goes beyond words. Connecting requires energy, and connecting is more skill than talent. And that's a big thing. We're not going to get deep into that tonight. We're going to talk about that in a few weeks. But it's about skill, not talent. That's a big deal. It's about skill, not talent. So it's connecting principles and then connecting practices, about connecting on common ground. Connectors do difficult work of keeping it simple. Connectors create an experience. An experience might be simple as making somebody feel good, making somebody feel appreciated. That's a big, big experience. Most people don't feel appreciated. About inspiring people. And then connectors living what they communicate. So just going to speed through this. By the way, we're not going to take any Q&A today. There's going to be another Q&A session that I will be sending out and talking about this week. But connecting in every situation. We go out and we meet people. We shake hands. We exchange what are you do's. What are you really saying in that process? Are you spilling your guts on somebody when they ask what do you do? Are you turning it back and learning about them? Connecting increases your influence in every situation. You know, John says in his book, connecting is the ability to identify with people and relate to them in such a way that it increases your influence with them. The more you ask them questions about themselves, about them, and the less you talk about what you're doing, the more you're going to relate to them, the more they're going to relate to you. And if you use my simple email follow-through, they're going to click, they're either remember you or they're going to click on your LinkedIn URL at the bottom of your email, see your picture, and go, oh, yeah, I remember him. What a nice guy. What a neat lady. That's what they're going to think, and that's what you want them to think. Now, they don't really know you yet. If you think back or if you haven't seen that know, like, trust sales and marketing funnel, but you want to bring through, they don't know you yet, but all of a sudden they start liking you, and you're going to remind them that you're nice. Now, you might have to work to be nice. My brother, cracks him up. He was on one of these calls a couple of years ago, and later he just cracks up because his opinion of me is I'm rude, crude, and sociably unacceptable. But we can learn to be nice. Okay, coming on through this. Let's see. There's a grid in the book that talks about high achievers versus average achievers and low achievers. And we're going to have a whole session on Adam Grant's book, Give and Take. But I'll just hit this. High achievers, and this is from a 16,000 person survey of business people done by Telemetrics. High achievers were listeners. High achievers sought advice. Those are things that you can do in your communication to connect with people. Of course, listening, asking questions, and then listening. And there's a big thing there. I ask you a question, and if I'm thinking about what I want to say to you, I'm not really listening to your answer. I'm thinking about what I want to say, and that's what most of us tend to do. But if you can test that. I've done it with myself where, just recently, I was wanting to say something, and I wasn't listening to what the person was saying. I kind of embarrassed myself in the process. But if you ask somebody a question and listen to what they're saying to ask them another question based upon that first response and just continue it on, you stand out head and shoulders above everybody else in that networking meeting. You leave there feeling much better about the networking meeting. Raise your hand. I don't care where you're at. Just raise your hand if you left networking meeting and gone, that was a waste of time. Connecting with people. Did you just raise your hand, Herdy? Did you knock something off there?
No.
That right. I mean, that makes a difference, right, Herdy? When you do this, you start connecting with people, and you enjoy networking meetings a whole lot
Absolutely.
better. Asking advice. You ask somebody a question, you realize that there's something I'm always thinking, okay, what can I learn from other people? And I learned that from John Maxwell. When he meets with people, he's asking certain questions. He's asking them certain questions about their business. He's asking himself, what can I learn from this person? He's asking that person even, now this is typically not in the first meeting, this is in the second or third follow-up meeting. He's asking, who do I know that you need to know? And some of you on this call, I've asked you this. Or who do you know that I need to know? Those two questions are game changers. And third game changer is a question you ask yourself, what advice can I get from them? And those are two of the big things that Telemetrics said in their 16,000 person survey. Two big things of high achievers. Now, here's the connecting questions that when Herdy, I still, as you know, struggle with how to present this part really, really well, because when we meet people and we follow through with people, and we're asking ourselves, we're really asking that person silently to ourselves, do you care about me? Can you help me? And can I trust you? And I think if you're not asking yourself subconsciously, at least subconsciously, those questions, you're deceiving yourself. I meet you at an after-hours event. I go into a networking event, and my presumption is that everybody's there trying to meet and get my business card, and everybody's there trying to get everybody's business cards. There's typically not I don't want to go down that path right now. I want to save that for another one. But and let me bring it back to these questions. Connecting questions, big connecting questions that you have with other people you meet in people you keep meeting, especially if you start connecting with them, and that they have for you and you have for them. Do you care for me? Can you help me? Can I trust you? John says here that the key concept is connecting begins when the other person feels valued. And the question we ask ourselves is, what can I do to increase my value with others? Herdy, when you and I first went through this a while back, you were pretty blown away by these stats. And this comes out of some, and you can look up the book that John gives. I don't think, yeah, I do have the stats written down. This comes from the first one is amazing. The first one this comes from this comes from a UCLA study. What we say accounts for only 7% of what is believed.
So why talk?
I'm kidding. What's that?
I said, why talk?
Yeah, exactly. The way we say it, though, accounts for 38%.
Yep.
Now, this is the one that that gets me the most. What others see account for 55%. So, 7%. Yep. 7% is what we say. 38% is the way we say it. And 55% is what others see as we're saying it. Think about that. If you're looking off, you're not paying attention, you're looking down at your phone, are you leaning in? Are you leaning back? There's a lot of that around a posture and expression that matters. That's why listening to what the person's saying and asking them questions about what they're saying, that is what
causes Danny,
the connection to start happening. Yes, sir.
Do you know that means that 90% of the impression we often convey has nothing to do with what we actually say?
Oh, absolutely.
Isn't that amazing?
It is. It is. Another key concept out of this, and then again, we're in the principle area, and actually I didn't mention it. The principle John gives here is connecting goes beyond words. The key concept is the more you do to go beyond words, the greater the chance you will have to connect with people. Now, here's his question to ask yourself. What visual technique do I need to improve to better connect with people? So, talk about a few things there, but we will move on. The fifth principle is connecting is more skill than natural talent. Now, we're going to deal in a whole area around this in a coming podcast about the skill versus talent. John here now. John Maxwell. I don't know if John Maxwell is an incredible communicator, incredible connector. Connects with audiences in ways that makes speakers just drool with envy, if you will. But he works so hard at it. And I've sat not one-to-one. There are about three of us at a table at one of his events, at one of his coaching events 4 years ago. He came down and sat down with us, and we had his full attention. We tried to ask him questions. He was asking us. He learned all kinds of stuff about me and everybody at the table, and maybe a little over 30 minutes. But here's what makes people listen. about building relationship, about sacrificing, telling about yourself and learning about the other person, being insightful, but sacrificing, being insightful enough to know to ask those questions. It's about developing the skills. It's about learning. How often, how much are you growing? John's got a great book, Everyone Communicates, You Connect. I've been through that book. I'm presently going through this, Hardy with the, we did 2 or 3 lessons out of that book. And it's laying here on my desk, and I've read the next 2 chapters in it. This is my 16th time that I've got recorded in that book that I've gone through it. Most of those were in masterminds. It's how much are you're developing your skills. And it's not all the skills you think about networking. It's about growing your leadership, growing your influence. So the key concept here, we're going to end with this. The key concept is the skills you learn to connect at one level can be used to start connecting at the next level. Just the skills that as we're networking, having that conversation, learning to do that better in the one-to-one or in the initial handshake, go to the next level of how you start following through. The question you ask yourself, what connecting skill is a strength in my life? And how can I make it better? So your connecting skill, you might be really, really good going back to that 8-touch worksheet. You might have a skill. Let's say you might have the skill at asking people questions and listening for the trigger for the next question. Or your skill might be your follow-through. I use the word follow-through, not follow-up. The follow-through, you might be great at the follow-through process, but you need to develop the questioning and listening skill during the handshake. Let me say this, the better you are at follow-through, the better you will become at meeting people. It doesn't bother me at all to go out, meet however many people. By the way, if I go to whatever event is that's where you get the open visiting, you walk in, you got 15 minutes before a chamber event. I try to get there 30 minutes before you sit down. If it's a regular networking event, most events I try to get there 30 minutes before the sit down. At the after hour events are just open networking. But I try to meet 2 people every 15 minutes that I have a certain conversation with, and I ask for their business card. Normally, people never ask me for my business card. Now, if you've been through my programs in the past, and I've changed this year, I realized that from a guerrilla marketing standpoint, I'm missing an opportunity to have something there in front of them. But I will give people my business card that didn't ask for it. But, if I forget to, that's okay because I depend upon my process. I'm not selling. I don't have commission breath where I have to, dump on somebody everything that I do. Most people don't care that I'm a mortgage loan officer. I've met realtors at events that have told me later they never knew I was a mortgage loan officer, and we never would have gotten to know each other very well if at all, if they'd have known I was a mortgage loan officer. That's why when I go to some events, I don't wear a name tag. And it's simply because I want to meet people without having a prejudged, I don't want you to prejudge me that, oh, he's a mortgage loan officer. I don't need to meet him. I've got mortgage loan officers. I get referrals from people that are in B&I groups with another loan officer, of course. And I get those referrals sometimes because I've got products. They need more hand-holding. They need a plan to be able to buy a mortgage. But they learn that over a period of time. They don't learn that when I meet them face-to-face. And some people have learned that. Normally, they've learned that through reading my blog, or my LinkedIn site. They start seeing some stuff and they start asking some questions about that. So, first step on that worksheet, after stapling the card to the middle of it, after putting up at the top I don't have one in front of me, so where you met a person and the date is a simple email. And I know this is hard for most of us to do. Is a simple email that says, Carla, it was great meeting you last week or yesterday. I personally I do not put the event in most cases because I want them to go, now where did I meet Danny? My signature has only my name, only my phone number. This particular email only has my name, my phone number, and my LinkedIn URL. I send it from my personal email, not from my mortgage company email. If I send them from the mortgage company email, they go, oh, mortgage guy, I don't need to open that. Oh, yeah, I do remember that mortgage guy. But now I've had some people tell me when they did get a mortgage, they go, I didn't remember him being a mortgage person. That's because they hadn't paid any attention. We all know. I mean, how many events do you go to and you take their business card and you're out in the car that night, you're cleaning out your pocket or purse and you go, who is this person? I don't remember meeting them. Well, people do that with us also. They do that with you. So, send the email. It was a great meeting you, Carla. Who else got on here? A great meeting you, Sherry. Hope to see you again soon. My purpose, and everything we do is a purpose. Remember those 4 Ps. Is my purpose there is, 1, to say hi to them. I'm trying to cause curiosity, and I want them to click on my LinkedIn URL and go, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. Oh, he's a nice guy. They think I'm nice because I asked them questions about them, and I kept asking them questions, and I didn't dump all over them about me. And they're going to have plenty of time and plenty of opportunity to get to know me because I have a follow-through process. Not everybody, but, I'm trying to remain top of mind. I'm trying to connect with people, not just communicate.